black vomit.
Hello, and welcome to SquaredEyesT.V. Today, we'll cover a bold and creative science fiction film, District 9. This science fiction film is a masterpiece from the same brilliant mind that brought us Chappie, Elysium, Gran Turismo, and Demonic. People have raved at how ingeniously clever and reflectively thoughtful it was, while boasting of a captivating story, unique faux documentary style, and well-crafted elements that bring this dystopian world to life. Overall, it's a sci-fi adventure that will have you glued to your seats until the end, wanting more like the rest of the world. If you like the video, remember to hit like and subscribe. The movie begins in 1982, when a giant extraterrestrial spaceship arrives and hovers over Johannesburg. For months it stood still, and there was no activity detected. After much deliberation, the governing leaders decided to cut their way inside. The whole world was excited about the prospect of making first contact with extraterrestrials. But instead of awe and excitement, they were shocked to find millions of malnourished aliens inside. Despite the international pressure on Johannesburg, the South African government established an aid group to help relocate these alien creatures to a temporary camp called District 9. What was originally built as a temporary holding zone quickly became fenced and militarized, later becoming a slum. Fun fact, did you know that District 9 was based on real-life District 6, a residential area in Cape Town in South Africa, where during the 70s, residents were forcibly removed due to apartheid? Before it even became a movie, it was originally a 6-minute short film in 2005 called Alive in Joburg, produced by Charlton Copley, who would later play the role of Wikus Vandermeer in the movie. Initially, the government spent so much attention on giving them proper status and protection, worried that the aliens would be unable to go home given that their mothership was inoperable. They suspect that back when it first arrived, a piece of the ship broke away, which they thought was the command module controlling the mothership. They tried searching for it, but given that several pieces of debris from the alien mothership had continued to fall off for months already, they could not locate it. Another fun fact, did you know that the aliens were originally going to be played by actors in suits, but after several revisions to make them look more like prawns, they decided to go entirely CGI for it? A special task force conducted several raids in District 9 to ensure everyone's safety, where they came across energy weapon caches. Soon, quickly after, tensions continued to rise until people became fed up and started rioting, violently evicting the aliens from their township. The locals complain of the aliens, often derogatorily called prawns, primarily due to their appearance, but more so to imply that they're bottom feeders that scavenged their leftovers. In response, the government has enforced a nationwide curfew to address these issues. Here's another fun fact. Did you know that the interviews in the movie weren't scripted? They were actual feedback from the South African locals on the Nigerian immigrants, who in this case were substituted for extraterrestrials. Director Neil Blomkamp claims he didn't base the script on historical research. Still, he based it on real-life events he witnessed growing up in South Africa during apartheid.
I do think a lot of that had to do with growing up in South Africa.
After 20 years, the continued public pressure and unrest forced the government to ship the aliens from Johannesburg. To enforce the eviction, the government turned to Multinational United, MNU, an international weapons manufacturer and military contractor, to help relocate the aliens out of District 9 to a new camp 200 kilometers outside the city. Hyatt Smith, an MNU executive, appoints his son-in-law, Wikus Vandermeer, as lead field officer to take command of the operation. Mercenaries will accompany MNU employees as they get the aliens to sign the I-27 form to legalize their eviction. Being handed a big promotion, Wikus brings along Fundiswa Malanga on the field, who he appoints as his replacement in his old role. Gates are flooded by human rights groups, who worry that abuses will occur as MNU attempts to relocate 1.8 million alien residents from their homes. Wikus leads by example as he goes house by house, getting the aliens to sign the forms and agree to be relocated. The situation gets out of hand as some of the aliens are impulsive and undisciplined. Wikus's quick thinking is able to defuse the situation with a can of cat food, which the aliens obsess over. Wikus even tricked the aliens into agreeing to be relocated, promising to hand them a can of cat food. Now I'm still speechless that these supposedly intelligent alien life forms are obsessed with cat food of all things. Now I'd understand if it was something like pork or beef. Heck, why not even fish? But why on God's green earth cat food? Well, it makes it easy to control them using shoddily cheap food that can easily be mass-produced. Sounds kind of familiar. Can't quite place it though. Well, here's another fun fact for you in the meantime. Did you know that the same actor, Jason Cope, played all the speaking alien roles.
Use these weapons to...
The alien's dialogue was then created using computer-generated effects. At the same time, the clicking sounds that the alien makes are generated by rubbing a pumpkin. While the operation continues to sweep through the area, and I gotta admit, it was funny seeing an alien pushing a cart full of chickens, or aliens and humans coming together and betting in what looks to be tiny aliens pitted against each other. Now in the slums of District 9, the Nigerians have various scams like the cat food scam, where they sell food to aliens for exorbitant prices. They were also known to deal with alien weaponry, carjacking, and interspecies hooking up. The infamous Obasanjo, a powerful underground figure in Johannesburg with a ruthless reputation, heads the Nigerians. Wikus and his team later come across an alien breeding den,
Wait a minute!
which they quickly burn down, worried it will blow up the aliens' population even more. Now, I'm pretty sure in the game Contra, it had a stage where you blow up alien eggs, but that's entirely different here. Well, fun fact, did you know that District 9 was shot without a complete script? Blomkamp envisioned a naturalistic feel with a documentary style, so he only wrote a little dialogue. He only gave the actors timing cues and general direction, allowing them to ad-lib most of their conversation. MNU is known to be the second largest weapons manufacturer in the world. During raids, they confiscate alien weapon caches and technology, hoping to mass-produce them. Unfortunately, alien weaponry was biologically engineered to work exclusively with alien DNA. Still, they collect these weapons, worried that the aliens would use them on them. Meanwhile, 3 aliens, Christopher Johnson, his son CJ, and his friend Paul, are frantically searching the garbage dump for alien technology. They've been scavenging for the last 20 years, hoping to get enough alien rocket fuel to charge a power source. With MNU at their doorstep, Christopher orders Paul to hide the fuel canister and answer the door while he and his son hide. Wikus and his team cautiously approach when they see an alien gang riding outside Paul's home. Realizing this was a gangster shack, Wikus searched, hoping to find weapons. He finds a room behind the wall and what appears to be an alien's makeshift lab. He later finds the canister, and he gets sprayed by accident while inspecting it. He confiscates the canister and takes it back, worried it could be dangerous in the aliens' hands. They also find alien weapons in another room, which Wikus flaunts in front of Paul. Outraged, Paul stands up and attacks Wikus and his team. Kubus, the lead mercenary, and his men arrive just in time to provide air support and brutally murder Paul, despite it begging for its life. Despite the injury he incurred from Paul, Wikus pushes through and continues. He later confronts Christopher and demands he sign the eviction papers. When he refuses, Wikus threatens to take away his son, young CJ, under the pretense of dangerous living conditions. Suddenly, Wikus doesn't feel well and decides to return to the office. They drop by a local burger shop when Wikus started getting black nosebleeds. He starts losing a tooth at the office, and his fingernails peel off. Ew. Well, doesn't this scene look familiar? Like Seth Brundle's transformation as the Fly in the 1986 film? Wikus quickly returns home, where his wife prepares a surprise party to celebrate his promotion. He tried his best to fight through it, but he passed out when he was cutting the cake. They quickly took him to the hospital, but they discovered he had an alien arm when the doctor cut his bandage open. Seeing it up close reminds me of Jason Bateman as the Crab in the 2021 film Thunder Force. Well, the doctor immediately informs MNU, who quickly assembles a team to secure Wikus and bring him back to their lab. Through testing, they were able to establish that Wikus had strongly bonded with the alien DNA and forced him to undergo weapon testing. Realizing he has alien DNA, MNU suspects he can now use alien weaponry. He was later forced to use all sorts of alien weapons and even shoot at the captive alien. The lead scientist informs MNU CEO Dirk Michaels and director Piet Smith, Wikus' father-in-law, that they're running out of time. He suggests they harvest everything they can before Wikus transforms into an alien. Michaels gives his approval, realizing they can make billions of dollars worth of biotechnology where people, governments, and even corporations would kill to get an opportunity like this. The lead scientist explains that Wikus would not survive the procedure, as they intend to harvest everything from tissue, bone marrow, and blood. Wow, even organ harvesters have some semblance of moral conscience. Now these guys just quickly discarded him like a piece of garbage. While Smith tries to convince his daughter how MNU is striving to save Wikus' life, the scientists proceed with the operation. But Wikus breaks free and escapes the building with a strong will to live. While he tries to call his wife, he's stonewalled by her parents. He tried to seek help from his friends, but they refused to take his call. He later became the most wanted man in Johannesburg when MNU made him a fugitive. With him being on every radio station and television, Wikus is forced to seek refuge in the one place they wouldn't look for, District 9. The next day, Wikus scavenged whatever food he could find when he suddenly had a crazy obsession with cat food. He later discovers from his wife that rumors have been going around that he's become obsessed with aliens and that he's been making out with them, hence why he's turning into one. Wikus tried to convince his wife that these are all lies made up by MNU to discredit him, not realizing that Wikus and his men used her to track his location. Having found his location, Wikus and his men fly directly to District 9. Wikus tried to hide in an alien shack, which is Christopher's. He discovers that Christopher and his son are suspiciously using makeshift computers to operate a device. When he discovers that Wikus's arm is transformed, Christopher realizes he took the fuel canister. He explains how he knows what's happening to him and claims he can fix him if only they had the rocket fuel for the dropship so that they could fly towards the mothership. Wikus asks him to find more fuel, but Christopher explains how it took them 20 years of scavenging to get that much. With the fuel canister back at the MNU lab, Wikus worries that breaking into the building would mean throwing themselves to be slaughtered, as his body slowly deteriorates and undergoes a harsh transformation. Wikus is forced to take up Christopher's offer and break into MNU. Before they attempt it, Wikus decides to secure weapons from the Nigerian arms dealer Obasanjo with whatever cash he has left. Hearing the rumors, Obasanjo's men search him and discover his alien arm. After seeing it, Obasanjo gets obsessed with wanting it for himself and orders his men to cut Wikus's arm off. He believes that he'd be granted the power to use the alien weapons by consuming alien parts. Heck no. I understand that they look like prawns, and yeah, I like seafood too. But there's no way this alien meat is actually going to taste like prawns. Well, when they were about to chop his arm off, Wikus managed to get a hold of an alien weapon, which he used to escape from Obasanjo's men. They quickly force their way into the lab and retrieve the fuel, but Christopher is stopped in his tracks when he discovers the horrendous experiments MNU has been doing to his people, his recently dead friend included. Wikus and his men corner Wikus and Christopher at the lab. After knocking some sense into him, Christopher makes a makeshift bomb to escape. Did you know that the entrance to the medical lab at MNU has a sign that reads Tetraval Biosecurity, the same robotic company featured in Blomkamp's later movie Chappie? They safely make it back to District 9, to which Christopher informed Wikus that he would have to use the remaining fuel to travel home quickly to get help to free his people. Having said that, he'll be unable to fix him until he returns to Earth in 3 years. Enraged, Wikus knocks Christopher out so he could fly the dropship and fix himself. He got it flying and headed towards the mothership, but Wikus's men shot it back down. Wikus approaches the wreckage and detains Wikus. On the way back to MNU, their convoy is ambushed by Obasanjo's men, who corner them in all directions. They quickly overwhelm Wikus and his men and retrieve Wikus to see their leader. Meanwhile, CJ, who remained hidden in the dropship, remotely activated the mechanized battlesuit in Obasanjo's base to gun down the Nigerians when they were about to amputate Wikus's arm. Whoa, that was badass, when the mechanized battlesuit used magnetism to pull bullets to one point and reverse polarity to shoot it in all directions like he was playing a Rubik's Cube. At the same time, CJ remotely activated the mothership, waiting for its command module dropship to connect. Another fun fact, did you notice that the battlesuit closely resembles the Ed 209 machine from RoboCop, from which director Blomkamp worked on the franchise? Seeing the mercenaries torture Christopher for information, Wikus enters the battlesuit and controls it to save him. Now, is it just me, or does it seem like RoboCop to you? He initially leaves him for dead, but returns when he realizes that they're about to kill Christopher. As they run for the dropship, Wikus covers for Christopher when they come under heavy fire. He offers to stay behind and fend off the enemy when his battlesuit takes a significant hit, buying time for Christopher to get to the dropship. Am I the only one seeing the flying pig that Wikus kicked? What is this, Angry Birds? Now here's a fun callback. Do you remember when Wikus was being tortured to shoot a prawn when they were testing alien weaponry? Wikus back then refuses to kill it and claims he'd instead shoot a pig.
Man, I'll shoot a pig! I'll shoot a pig again for you. I'll pull the trigger, but I'm not shooting that prawn.
Well, later in the movie, Wikus throws a pig at an MNU soldier in his battlesuit. Now, as he makes his final stand, Wikus sneaks up from behind and blows a hole through the suit. Wikus holds Wikus at gunpoint as he crawls out of the wreckage, trying to survive. When he's about to finish him off, Wikus is surrounded by alien prawns who quickly dismember him alive, saving Wikus. Christopher and CJ enter the mothership and set their destination for home. The entire world, humans and aliens alike, witness what appears to be the first movement from the alien mothership after 20 long years when it first arrived. The entire city comes to an absolute standstill as millions have mixed emotions of fear and excitement for what comes next. Meanwhile, Fundiswa Molanga is currently awaiting trial for exposing MNU's illegal genetic research program. District 9 was demolished and the aliens are moved to a new camp outside the city called District 10, which now houses 2.5 million aliens and continues to grow by the day. That day was the last time they saw Wikus. Several conspiracy theories say that he's been captured by MNU or by another government, or even by some shady government agency holding him captive and experimenting on him. Tanya, his wife, finds a metal flower on her doorstep, which he suspects came from Wikus, and hopes that he's still alive. Having wholly turned into an alien, Wikus is shown in a junkyard crafting a metal flower for his wife. Did you know that they showed the footage of Wikus showing a picture of his wife? He tells them that she looked like an angel with a halo, a subtle reference to the Halo film that fell apart before Blomkamp made District 9 due to financial issues. Also, when Tanya is wondering where the metal flower came from, you can see in the corner of the mirror what looks to be an ultrasound, meaning Wikus is having a baby and will have to wait 3 years for maybe a chance to become human again. Who knows what effect this tiny detail will have on the sequel, which has become the hottest topic ever since this movie was released. On a different note, did you know that Blomkamp filmed 5 alternate endings to the movie? According to an interview, he claims that one of these endings was so bad that he was too embarrassed to tell them anything about it and pledges that version of the ending will never see the light of day. It makes you wonder what it is, but Blomkamp hinted that Copley got really dirty when it was shot. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit like and subscribe. Make sure to tap that bell to be notified about our latest videos. And with that, we'll see you next time.